Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're doing something, well, something truly unique.
I think so.
We're taking a deep dive into a single, incredibly short text that, for millions of people, acts as a kind of universal constitution.
We're talking about the Fatiha Surah, the opening of the Qur'an.
Exactly. It's only 7 verses long.
But that brevity is, it's profoundly deceptive. Our mission today is really to uncover the intense spiritual and psychological journey, this vertical ascent that happens every single time these verses are recited.
And we're going to start this deep dive with a philosophical hook that, honestly, it instantly forces you to confront the miracle of your own existence. It comes from the Nabulsi commentary.
It's a fantastic question.
Here it is. If you were born in 1938, where were you in 1936?
And the answer is just immediate, and it's humbling. You were nowhere. You were in a state of absolute nothingness, non-existence. The question just grounds you right away in this realization that being brought from that void into existence was a pure gift.
An undeserved gift.
Complete.
And that context, that feeling of sheer, unearned existence, that's the emotional launch pad for the Fatiha. This surah is known to scholars as the Kitab.
The mother of the book.
Because our sources show it contains the essence, the summary of all the major truths of the faith.
Everything. The oneness of God, the afterlife, justice, worship. It's all there.
So we're tracing the Fatiha as a kind of 7-step ladder for the soul. And along the way, we're trying to answer your core question, what must I feel in my heart to actually converse directly with my Lord?
Exactly. And, structurally, this thing is a marvel. It's also called Asibul Masani.
Which means the repeated 7.
Right. And that name, it emphasizes its continuous function. It's not just about where it is in the book, but what it does.
And there's a theory about its revelation that I find fascinating.
The double revelation theory. It's compelling. The sources suggest it was revealed once in Mecca during the community's really intense period of suffering.
So for individual crisis.
Right. And then again later in Medina when they were building a functioning society.
So it's a constant manifesto, a spiritual guide for the soul in crisis, and at the same time, it's a constitutional framework for society.
It's for the individual and the collective.
Both.
Both.
Okay, let's unpack this ascent then. Let's start with step 1. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. This is where we lay the emotional foundation.
The foundation of being itself.
So if I just say thank you for a blessing, that's gratitude, shukr. What is the deep fundamental difference between that and this idea hamd?
That's the key question. So basic thankfulness, shukr, is reactive. You receive a gift, you say thank you. It's a transaction.
A to B.
Exactly. But hamd it's ontological. It's so much more profound. The sources define it as absolute praise of the Creator's very essence and perfect attributes.
So it's completely independent of whether I'm getting a blessing right now.
Completely.
So even if I'm experiencing a loss or just having a terrible day, I can still offer hamd.
Absolutely, because it's the fundamental response to the miracle of existence itself, that first question we asked. It's a positive acceptance of the whole system. There's a saying that hamd is the head of thankfulness.
Ah, I like that. It sets a default positive frequency for your soul.
It does. It's what saves a person from collapsing into nihilism and existential dread, because you're accepting the universe is fundamentally purposeful.
Even when specific events feel painful.
And that leads you right to the next part, the cosmic trainer. When we say Rabu Alamin, the term Rab is so much more than master or lord.
What's the root meaning?
The root implies Murebi, the one who trains, nourishes, and brings something to perfection step by step.
Wow, that interpretation is huge, because it directly refutes that whole deist watchmaker God idea.
The idea that God just created everything and then stepped back.
Yeah, just let it run.
This proves active management. The system of Rubaiyat, of lordship, means there is constant active supervision over every atom, every galaxy.
So let's make this practical. If Rab means trainer, how does that help me when I'm actually suffering? Does it change my reaction to loss?
It changes everything. It means difficulties, losses, challenges. They are not random chaos.
They're part of the training.
They are divinely designed methods of training, intended to carve us into the highest version of ourselves. So when you recite Rabbul Alamin, you're actually saying, I am in your training circle. I submit to being carved and perfected.
And that submission is where inner peace comes from. You're assured your suffering isn't meaningless, it's purposeful. That gives the soul a deep calm.
Exactly. So we've established this foundation of awe, of respect for this powerful trainer. But you can't have a relationship that's just built on fear.
Right, it has to be approachable.
So the next step immediately balances that feeling with compassion. We move to Rahman and Rahim.
They both come from the same root for mercy, but what's the functional difference here?
It's all about the scope. Ar-Rahman is the universal inherent mercy. You could call it, in essence, mercy. It covers all creation, believer, non-believer, everyone.
So the sun rises for everyone.
The sun rises for everyone. The rain falls for the good and the bad. That's Rahman.
And Ar-Rahim is more specific.
Yes. Ar-Rahim is the special in-action mercy. It's conditioned on your effort and faith. It's the divine grace you get in this world for trying, and heaven in the next.
The psychological effect there is profound. You go from the awesome power of the trainer,
Which creates a respectful fear.
and it's immediately converted into hope and deep love. That blend is the perfect psychological ground for a real dialogue.
It is. And after establishing that balance, the surah just pivots. It shifts your gaze to the future, to the ultimate reality check.
The master of the day of reckoning, Maliki of Midden.
It's a powerful move, the day of din. The concept of absolute ownership here is radical. Think about all the things you claim: my status, my money, my house.
All temporary.
The sources stress it's all metaphorical and temporary. On that day, all the masks drop, and absolute sovereignty belongs only to God.
And this realization has two essential effects on the soul.
Right. Two huge effects. First, responsibility. Self-control. Knowing every little thing, even done in secret, will be accounted for, forces you to be moral.
You can't get away with it.
There's no escaping it. And the second effect is so important for spiritual healing.
It's the expectation of justice.
Yes. For anyone who has been oppressed, who has suffered deep injustice in this world, this certainty, this knowledge that the final account is always correct, it's the greatest source of consolation. That hope is crucial for the victim's spirit.
So we've established the identity of the Lord the Trainer, the merciful, the just, and now we reach the absolute spine of the surah, the moment of the direct meeting.
Iyake nabudu wa iyake nesten.
This is where the curtain lifts.
It really is. There's a dramatic rhetorical shift here. Up until this point, all the verses refer to God in the third person. He is the Lord. He is the master.
But right here, the servant, having praised and recognized all those attributes, has now in a way earned the right to stand in his spiritual presence.
And the word changes from he to you.
That's the communion. You're no longer talking about the Creator. You're standing face to face talking to the Creator.
It's the peak of the ascent.
And the phrasing itself is so powerful. Only you we worship. The words only you come first, before the verb.
Which creates a restriction. Only and only you, not anyone or anything else.
So what does that mean for our freedom?
It is the liberation. That's the declaration of absolute oneness. By restricting worship to God alone, you free your heart from 1,000 other false idols.
Money, status, ego, fear.
All of it. A heart that only serves God is freed from slavery to the anxiety and the demands of everything else.
That is a powerful definition of freedom. But notice it says we worship, not I worship.
Yes, the cosmic we.
This immediately rejects a purely individualistic spirituality.
It emphasizes community, the collective. The analysis from Bediüzzaman Said Nursi on this is brilliant. He talks about 3 expanding circles in that we.
The first being the biological we.
Right. All the trillions of cells and systems in your body are submitting with you. You're speaking for your entire internal universe.
Then the sociological we.
You're representing the entire global community of believers, past, present, and future. You're including everyone who strives for this truth in your prayer.
And the biggest circle is the cosmic we.
Where you act as the spokesperson for all of creation, the stars, the mountains, the trees, all in their natural state of worship. You become their collective voice.
Which leads perfectly to the second half.
Yeah.
And only you we ask for help.
The honest confession of human weakness. We can't even do this elevated worship without divine aid.
And here's where we need clarity. How do we balance that total divine reliance with, the need to actually work hard, to go to the doctor, to study for the test?
It establishes the perfect balance between reliance and causality. You absolutely must use the material means. You have to work. You have to prepare.
But your heart is tied to the creator of the means.
Not the means themselves.
Right, yeah.
And that frees you from the anxiety of the outcome.
The spiritual counseling takeaway here is, it's huge. It grants a kind of secure attachment. The message is, you are not alone. You have ultimate divine power supporting your effort.
So after the servant establishes this binding contract, praise, awe, justice, submission, the ultimate request finally follows.
Guide us to the straight path. Idinas Siratal Mustaqim.
And this request for guidance, it's not static. It isn't a one-time thing.
Not just help me believe.
No, it's a dynamic, continuous process. It's a request for discernment in every single moment of your life. Guidance for a wealthy person is using wealth with generosity. For a manager, it's ruling with justice.
It's the ability to see the right thing to do and then do it.
And to follow it without hesitation.
And the straight path itself is this path of balance. It avoids the two extremes.
Excess and negligence, Ifrat and Tefrit. It's like walking a tightrope between being a reckless fanatic and a complacent observer.
And to make it even clearer, the Sutta gives us a perpetual self-check mechanism. It identifies 3 sociological archetypes from history.
Exactly. It defines the path by showing you the 2 paths to avoid.
So first, the ideal, those granted blessing. These are the role models.
The prophets, the sincere, the martyrs, the righteous, people who combined accurate knowledge with correct action.
And then the groups to avoid. First, those who earned wrath.
These are the ones who knew the truth, but they rejected it, out of arrogance or self-interest. They had the knowledge, but they failed to act on it.
And the final group, those who went astray.
These were often well-intentioned, but they strayed because of ignorance or excessive emotion. They had action, but no knowledge to guide it.
So the prayer forces you to ask every single time, am I straying because of arrogant knowledge or ignorant action? Am I on that balanced path that fuses them both?
It's a constant calibration of your moral compass.
Okay, so wrapping this entire ascent up, what does it all mean for our original question? How do we achieve that direct conversation in our hearts?
The secret is in a profound revelation, a sacred saying of the Lord.
A hadithi Qudsi.
Right. It states, I divided the prayer, Fatiha, between me and my servant. Half is mine and half is my servant's, and my servant will be given what he desires.
That is the ultimate confirmation. It's a dialogue. It's a back and forth, not a monologue we just recite into the air.
It's an exchange. And the feeling required to stand in that presence is known as the state of Ihsan.
Which means to worship God as if you see him.
For even if you do not see him, he sees you.
And the sources actually detail the emotional dialogue, the back and forth.
They do. When you declare your praise, God replies, my servant has praised me. And this gives you that feeling of trust, of being recognized.
And when you speak of his mercy, he replies, my servant has lauded me.
Which generates that hope and love in your heart.
When you acknowledge his absolute ownership, God replies, my servant has glorified me.
And that settles you into a state of seriousness and submission.
And then at the peak, when you declare, only you we worship, and only you we ask for help.
God replies, this is between me and my servant, and he shall have what he asks. That's the moment the contract is finalized. Pure submission, pure freedom.
And achieving that state, it requires a kind of cleansing of the heart.
A systematic cleansing of everything other than God. And Fatiha does that step by step. The trainer removes your dependence on worldly causes. The master of the day removes your attachment to status and future worries.
And the declaration of oneness removes the ego, the self.
Until only the lover and the beloved remain. The spiritual counseling takeaway here is that this moment, this is the cure for modern anxieties, for future worry, depression about the past, and profound loneliness. It grants a complete spiritual integrity.
It's the ultimate roadmap. It guarantees you're not just a directionless person in a chaotic universe.
You're a purposeful part of a divine system of training and mercy. It is the ultimate hopeful story, all contained in 7 short verses.
We've seen that the Fatiha is a living, breathing, existential compass. It answers the fundamental questions. Who am I? Who am I with? Where am I going? What should I do? It is the soul's ascension. In every single prayer, a fresh contract with the Creator.
Every single time.
So, given that you now know Fatiha is a moment-by-moment conversation and not just a text you passively recite, the next time you begin this ascent, will you be talking about the Lord, or will you be ready to stand in his presence and talk to him?